I'm gonna tell y'all, hoodoo does not need initiation. Hoodoo means praise in Hebrew. Hoodoo means the ancient pathway in Greek. Hoodoo is a bloodline that you are born into. And these are things that just end up A, coming natural, and B, we had recipes and books and papyruses. In fact, there was an Ebers or Hebrews papyrus found in ancient Egypt in 1550 BC. Herbalism roots on how to administer abortions, how to heal up different STDs and heart failure and different ailments. Like this is what we fail to realize. When you begin to look at initiation practices, these would be called councils, secret councils. Specifically, when Jacob began to talk about Levi, and he began to say, do not go into his secrets. That's Sod, S-O-D. And right there, it actually says, Basadam, the Bet, the Samek, the Dilets, and the Mem. So without the bets on it, because that will make it there. So in order to make it plural, you put the mem on it, or the M. So Sodam, Sodom. Sodom is one of the sons of Ham, and Ham is the father of Kemet, Egypt. We also know that Sodom and Gomorrah is the place that was destroyed in the time of Abraham. So this was between 2181 BC and like 19 something, right? Destroyed due to lack of hospitality, also due to the fact that they were having initiating process. There was great temple prostitution taking place in Sodom. There was a widespread of homosexuality taking place in Sodom. When they began to see the two men who were Melech border crossers come into Sodom to rescue Lot and to warn him, the men wanted to take them and to sodomize them. These are initiation practices. When you begin to look at hoodoo, because we're talking about the ancient way, and the ancient way will refer to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We begin to look at Abraham when he left out of Ur and he pitched a tent after he was told, this gonna be your land for you and for your future generations. Then he built an altar. He built the altar out of the mud, out of the mounds, out of the brick that was around. He didn't use any stones or anything to carve it. These were mound builders. Then he poured out a libation. The libation could have been water, it could have been oil, or it could have been wine. We do see honey used in the Bible as well to represent fertility. We see that curd or milk is also representative of fertility. I'm not going to say that the Israelites used those two things for libations. I'm just not going to leave it off the table, because I do know that it is part of the Near Eastern custom, and both of those things represent goodness and fattening and fertility in the Bible. So it is a possibility. I just know for sure honey, wine, and water. Oftentimes, these libations and these mountains would be built, these mounds, in groves. And we know that in the Bible, the word grove is taken out and is fought against. This is the God Yahweh coming against grove. Grove in Hebrew is Asherah, right? And we've been taught against her. We're not going to go into that. But we're going to go into it we're going to talk around it, and that should explain it. Grove in Greek means meta. Meta in Greek also means mother. Metatron is throne of the mother, grove of the mother, the mother goddess, throne of the mother. Enoch was supposed as to be converted into Metatron. He was translated. Metatron name in gematria. Gematria is literally the numerical value of the letters in the Hebraic number. A lot of y'all like to practice numerology. No, what does that number mean in Hebrew? And the letters that's used to make up that number in Hebrew, what do those letters mean? And what scriptures are attached to those letters? What does that number mean on the periodic table of element? And what crystal, because crystal grows out of the earth, is correlated to that number? What herb, what spice? That's how you begin to do things. So when they begin to Metatron in gematria equates to El Shaddai. Shaddai is breasted one, female. That's a mammary. So this is the mother, wisdom, Proverbs 8, who was there in the beginning. So Hoodoo practitioners, the mother goddess figurines, this is El Shaddai, who began to appear to Abraham. It was just 618, I found 618 in synchronization. Appeared to him and promised him fertility. He was called out. His father Terah went through initiation. He was the high priest of On under Nimrod. Moses and the Levites had initiation on Mount Sinai. So Abraham began to build these mounds and by rivers of water. This is where your baptisms and things of that nature come into. Your herbalistic baths. So when he went into it, when he got promised a new place, and before he even got there, he put out a libation. After he had the dream and the vision and he woke up, he poured out a libation. When Jacob got new land, he poured out a libation. So libations for dreams, for visions, for new land, for prophetic warnings, for when the Most High makes himself known or seen, Elroy, to be perceived when his word comes to pass. All appropriate for libations. Remission of sins. Forgiveness. All appropriate for a libation to be poured out on an altar that's built from the earth. You do not see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob building up altars and placing their ancestors on them. And we began to look at the Choctaw Native Indians, as I am one, same thing. They built their mounds next to rivers of water. And when they would have their ceremonies, doing their prayer and doing their worship, they would mention the main three chiefs, just like we do Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They were not setting up altars in their home with pictures to these men with candles on them and things of that nature. That's the Yoruba. You can find them in Benin, the Dahomey, the Fan, the Don, and Cuba, and Hadi, some of the Igbo. And all of them don't even practice the same things. These are the ancient pathways. So you can have an altar. Don't put no people on there. The Most High said, have no other gods before me. And when your ancestors pass into the afterlife and they are able to be changed, we don't know. And they will become as gods, and you placing them on the altar, this is idol synchronization, and that's what you want to do. That's cool. Don't call it hoodoo. Your jars, your protection spells, your prayers, your declarations, your affirmations, your baths, your crystals, your herbs, your spices, all of those things are hoodoo. All of this other stuff y'all are doing, love spells and putting people in freezers and just, some other things, you need to look at the etymology. And a lot of y'all are tapping into culture and you don't even know who you are. You don't even know who you are. You don't know what tribe you come from. You don't know who your people are. Yo no sé tu familia. Ya, por favor.